I'd only been gone 5 days. 5 days off the grid. No phone, no emails, just me and my dog Baxter out in the mountains of New Mexico, breathing air so clean I almost forgot what stress felt like. That last sunrise, packing up camp, I remember thinking, man, life's about to get real noisy again. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for the circus waiting back home. I rolled up my driveway expecting the usual. Hummingbirds darting between the feeders, the mesquite trees whispering in the wind, maybe even the lazy shuffle of a neighbor's cat. Instead, I found a damn skyscraper in my front yard. A 20-foot-tall billboard, ugly as sin, bolted straight into the middle of my lawn, standing just 10 feet from my porch. Bold blue letters screamed, "Welcome to Sunrest Ridge, where community thrives." I slammed my truck door so hard Baxter started barking. I just stood there, sun pounding my neck, cicadas going nuts somewhere behind me, trying to decide if I'd lost my mind or stepped into someone else's fever dream. But nope, that shadow didn't budge. The steel supports were real. My irrigation lines were trashed, concrete had pooled into the ditch where I just rerouted the valves last month. And, like some twisted signature, someone left an empty Gatorade bottle, 3 Taco Bell wrappers, and a pile of cigarette butts at the base. On the back of the sign, in Sharpie, HOA approved and permitted. I could feel my blood pressure hitting new records. I went inside, dug out my fireproof box, laid out every document I owned, title, city exemption, even a letter from the HOA's own lawyer saying my parcel wasn't, and never would be, under their rule. I called city planning. No permit, no right-of-way, my boundaries untouched. HOA did that, the guy on the line said. Bold move. Not smart. Time to call Damon, old friend, demo guy. Used to be a structural engineer, but found his true calling taking apart stuff that shouldn't exist. By 4, he rolled up with his truck, cutting torch, and the kind of grin you only see on a man about to break all the rules. "They really poured concrete on your yard?" he asked. I just pointed. We got to work, cutting, prying, sweating buckets. Baxter supervised from the porch, as if making sure we didn't slack off. 3 hours later, that billboard was in pieces on Damon's trailer. By sunset, all that was left was shredded grass and a quiet, satisfied sprinkler head. But you know how it goes, trouble never leaves quietly. I was barely inside cracking open a beer when a black Lexus screeched up my drive. Out storms Karen Wolf, the HOA president, self-appointed queen of the subdivision, sunglasses and folder like she's here to serve the Lord's justice. "You had no right," she barked before I could say hello. "That sign was authorized by the board." I shot back. "The board doesn't govern my property. I've got every document to prove it." Her face went beet red. "This is for the good of the community." "Then you can explain it to my lawyer and the city inspector coming tomorrow," I said, waving my phone. She spun on her heel, flinging gravel as she peeled out. Baxter just wagged his tail. Next morning, coffee in hand, I found a manila envelope taped to my door. Formal notice from Sunrest Ridge HOA demanding $47,000 for destruction of community property and disruption of visibility infrastructure. They even attached drone photos of the sign and an invoice for $20,000, dated days before I'd even left for my trip. I nearly choked laughing. If that wasn't bad enough, at 9 sharp, 2 HOA inspectors showed up at my gate, reflective vests, clipboards, and the kind of swagger you only get from never having your authority questioned. "We're here to assess the damages," the woman declared. "You're trespassing," I replied. Phone recording. "No easement, no right-of-way. Turn around or I call the sheriff." Bluetooth guy hesitated. Then they both left, snapping pictures like they were building a case for CSI. Suburbia. I sent everything to Jenna, my attorney, queen of the courtroom, and the only person who loves paperwork more than revenge. Her reply was classic. "We're going to have fun with this." But the HOA wasn't done. That afternoon, flyers showed up in mailboxes, my photo, arms crossed, above the words, "Neighbor destroys community property. Is your family safe?" My neighbor Miguel texted a pic, laughing. But the smear campaign hit Facebook too, Karen spinning me as some wild-eyed radical out to destroy collective governance. They even posted my business address online, encouraging people to warn my clients. Jeff, the retired firefighter next door, stopped by. "They're trying to rally the whole damn neighborhood," he said. "You got a target now." "Let them try," I said. "They want to fight. I'll give them one." That night, While checking my security cams, I spotted two hooded figures tossing a brick into my yard. Wrapped around it, a note, "Leave or get buried with your dog." Cops took it seriously. One deputy even recognized the hoodie from the HOA volunteer squad. I filed a police report, then spent the night wiring up more lights and cameras. They wanted to play dirty? Fine. Wednesday, the lawsuit hit my inbox, 42 pages accusing me of everything from destroying infrastructure to causing emotional distress for the community. The kicker, $47,000 in damages and $25,000 in punitive harm. Jenna nearly cackled. I'm drafting a counterclaim so sharp it'll draw blood. Next day, she filed for $135,000, land remediation, irrigation, security, and emotional distress, plus an accusation of document fraud. The HOA doubled down, hiring a PR firm to spin the story online. But their first real mistake was paperwork. During discovery, they sent over a consent form signed by the previous owner of my parcel, except the guy had died 4 years ago. Jenna filed a motion for document fraud. The judge called a hearing. Karen's team scrambled, claiming it was a clerical mix-up. Too late. We filed to preserve all board communications. Suddenly, I was getting anonymous emails, PDFs of old board minutes, maps with boundary edits, emails about keeping him boxed in. Someone inside was leaking, but things escalated fast. That night, I found a scorched patch of grass, motor oil poured near my garage, caught in time by my cameras. Jenna enhanced the footage. Richard Wolf, Karen's brother, same limp, same hoodie. Sheriff's deputies arrested him after a failed arson attempt. He flipped quick, said Karen put him up to sending a message. Within 48 hours, the judge granted a restraining order on the entire HOA board. When the sheriff raided the HOA office, they found a trove of forged signatures, emails about not needing to bother the owner, and plans to use my parcel because it looked vacant. The contractor, seeing the writing on the wall, lawyered up and claimed the board misled him. Local news ran wild. Residents came forward, stories of harassment, fines that vanished, threats over minor violations. Susan and Craig, two longtime residents, even showed up at my door with emails proving Karen had run the HOA like a dictatorship for years. Jenna amended the suit to class action. Nearly 20 neighbors joined, and then came the fire. Just after 2 a.m., Baxter woke me, barking mad. Flames at the east gate. Someone had tried to burn down my property. Cams caught Richard again, and this time, there was no question. He confessed. Karen was arrested in her robe, screaming about being the real victim. Charges: conspiracy, arson, harassment, fraud. The board splintered, resignations, desperate statements, and one treasurer who turned state's evidence, revealing the quiet fund Karen used for her little empire. Judge dissolved the HOA, appointed an auditor, and referred all criminal evidence to the DA. Courtroom 3 was packed for my civil trial, neighbors, press, even a couple ex-board members in disguise. Jenna went full throttle. Footage of the illegal sign, fake documents, Karen's emails about pour and go, he's out of town, even the notary, who pled guilty to falsification, on the stand. Residents testified, stories piling up, threats, intimidation, extorted fines. I took the stand last. I didn't start this, I said, voice steady. I just wanted to be left alone. They built a billboard, forged documents, tried to torch my land. This isn't about community. It's about control. The jury didn't need long. Unanimous verdict in my favor. $180,000 in direct damages, $70,000 in punitive, all legal fees paid. The judge dissolved Sunrest Ridge HOA on the spot. In the criminal trial, Karen took 12 years, no parole for 7. Her brother got 18 months. The rest of the board is barred for life. Sunrest Ridge is now under county oversight, a court-appointed manager refunding fines and fixing damage. Jenna's helping residents with their own lawsuits. Me? I planted citrus trees where that billboard once stood, built a concrete mailbox, and spend my evenings on a bench under the biggest tree, Baxter at my feet, Rye in hand, watching the sun go down over the hills I fought to protect. Sometimes, a family drives by, waves, thanks me for standing up. But I'm no hero, just a guy who didn't back down. Now I want to hear from you. When does standing your ground become the only way to keep your home safe? Where's the line between community and control? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what real justice looks like, because someone's got to.